I'm from Koreatown, I chill in Mid-City though. Over there by Pico and West, close to the liquor store. Chilling at my homie Andre's pad with the local squad. They know I got love for the homies that post up on the block. I don't forget none of the homies.
Hey y'all, welcome back to La Serranita. This is officially our second guest of the season, and I'm so proud and excited to introduce the owner and our friend, Jax from Barrio Drive is here joining us. Welcome, Jax.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm super excited to be here today.
We're so glad to be having you on. I think we have great conversations off the mic, and we've had a great friendship throughout the years. But Melly and I were just sitting back and reflecting on our relationship with not only like our friendship with you, but also with Barrio Drive, with the brand. It's a brand that we're so glad to see have such huge momentum behind it, such support, and it being so community focused. So for those that don't know about Barrio Drive, this is a perfect episode for you to learn more about the brand and the people behind the brand, everyone, putting in their heart and soul into the products that you see us wear right now.
Yes, proudly rocking Barrio
Always
Drive.
rocking Barrio Drive, of course. And we're so glad to just, finally have a chance to sit down and talk to you. I think Melly and I have been huge fans and supporters of your work for quite some time now. We were just talking about even how we found out about Barrio Drive. Before it was Barrio Drive, it was Adelita's Apparel.
Yes, and the impact social media had on launching a small business, but also reaching so many other homes, communities, conversations, and then now being on the ground and doing a lot of that work in person has been a lot of growth that we've seen on your end. So congratulations. But also, if you'd like to dive into how you saw the impact of social media, really bring in people to your brand, but also befriended folks in the long run, because I think social media has had a huge impact that's connected a lot of us. And through Las Voces del Pueblo here on La Serranita, social media plays a big factor in how these conversations can make it outside of just the platform. So it's not just like a comment. It can also continue to grow conversations, but also that friendship. I think you and I did meet on social media. I became a big fan of Adelita's Apparel. To this day, I remember my first purchases about Adelita's Apparel, but how intentional you as a business owner are when writing those cards to everyone that gets a package by you, but also the behind the scenes that you get to introduce us through your social media platforms. There's so much we could talk about, but I'll pass it to you. How has that experience been like? And what you'd like to share about Barrio Drive, but also so they could get to know you.
Yeah, so for me, social media has been super impactful. As someone who doesn't leave their house, it's really hard to just advertise a brand and become something when you're learning how to do it yourself from the beginning. Yes. Because a lot of us are in these circles where we're learning step by step on our own. Y puro Mickey Mouse, Entonces, for me, it's super cool to be able to connect with people who not only have the same background, but also sometimes it's just having the same morals, the same goals in life. And even when we met, I believe the first time we met was when you both modeled, right? In person, right? Mm-hmm. And it's situations like that where, to me, when we met, I felt like we already knew each other for a long time. Yes. And we spoke, but it's different from knowing someone in person and just online. But when you get together with people from online, you start realizing I do know them. They're my friends. It's not just there's a real person behind the screen, behind all the profiles that are supporting you. And it's the same with social media. Sometimes we don't value those 50 likes because we want 1,000 likes, but those are 50 people who are still supporting you and doing what they can to just pour into you.
Yeah, they're down with the vision, and I love that they do support you. And even just the campaign, right? When you commissioned Stefan to design the Oaxaca collaboration shirt or the Oaxaca shirt, even that, it was just through a simple text. I recommend Stefan, and I think y'all started connecting, and that really was nice to see, and for you to bring us into this photo shoot, but also having Zuli as a photographer, like it was very like Oaxacan based, and I love that you gave us that space. But we also had dinner after that, like knowing that those conversations again weren't just like a quick campaign, okay, let's get it over with, and then that's that. Like you as a business owner kept in mind that like, let's start a conversation, let's break bread together. And so that dinner to me, it was one of like, it was such a cool, like just night out with friends. And I love that because it's not transactional, where sometimes people do say like, oh, LA's so fake, LA's this and that. But being in community, we're like, no, we know how to have conversations, hype each other up, but also like be so grounded with each other that we can prosper together and in our own ways, right? Not because it's like a one size fits all. Like we're also different, and you have grown a very creative space. I think you've made your life as yours as possible, right? Like it's just, what does Jax like to wear? What like, I love that you see us like also like once you bring out different merch, like we get to be your dolls, like we get to dress up, but also have fun and like bring our own little twist to it. Annie has this hoodie on right now. Like you have a custom jacket or like, what would it be? Vest. Yeah. Okay, so coming soon. But also like I love the different themes you've been able to launch as you've grown your business.
Yeah, I think something that's been very appealing about Barrio Drive and unique is the strong messages behind the brand. I think again, sweaters like this are something that like, I'm like, it's not just a simple statement on a hoodie. It's like an actual like loud statement that I want to make with what I'm wearing, especially in the times we're in, and especially with the communities that you advocate for. And I think that's something that's always gravitated me towards the brand. And then also in general, like talking about the Oaxaca tea, that was something that we felt very seen with, because it's like, you advocate and also represent so many different communities, not just like where you're from, but also understanding like there's so many, like these audiences are coming from so many different backgrounds, and each group should have something for themselves, right? And I feel like that was very heartfelt that we saw when we met in person and we did the photo shoot for the Oaxaca teas. But then in general, seeing the conversations that have sparked with Barrio Drive online, where people are like, we need more brands like this. We need more apparel that is something that I see myself wearing. And it's a graphic tee, but it's a tee with like little details that I see myself in. And I feel like you're like the shirts, even like just laying them out, it's like there's something for everyone there. And I feel like that's so great, and it's what's caused such gravitation online to people, right? But I kind of just want to take it back, because that was, when did we meet? When did we do that photo shoot? 2022?
It was way back.
It was a while ago. That's insane. And that was so cool, because you had Zuli, who's a Oaxacan photographer. You had us, and again, for the Oaxaca tea, and then Tefan designing it. And then you and your sister were always just so welcoming. And like, again, Meli and I, we've done some photo shoots with people, and thank God we've always left there like, these people are so kind. Yes. Because we've had people in entertainment and all of this that sometimes they're like, it's so impersonal. It's so like, I'm going to take your photo. Okay, thank you, bye. And it's like, we luckily have never had an experience like that. But you and your sister really, it being the first time we interacted with you in person really helped us. Like, we knew online that there's like such heart behind this vision, and it just confirmed it with that in-person interaction. So I kind of just want to take a second to kind of give an overview for anyone who's new here, who's like, what is Barrio Drive? I want to learn more about what you do. I know it was Adelita's Apparel before. How did even that vision start? Like you being in your room maybe and just being like, I want to start something, you know? How did that happen? What year was that? Because it's been a minute. Meli and I were talking about her knowing more about Adelita's Apparel through Twitter. And we've talked about this in this podcast, how Twitter's not a thing anymore. We have X, but like those early on Twitter interactions were so fundamental for us. And I remember Meli gifted me some cow socks and some cow earrings from Adelita's. I still have those cow socks. I love those cow socks. And early on, and then like the sote little lavadora thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I love it. I used to clean my makeup brushes with it. And like just knowing like the start of your vision and seeing how it's grown into now, like, again, huge fans. We could sit here and say it 1,000 times to you. But kind of understanding like, okay, what year did it start? And then from there to now, 2026, 'cause you've had some amazing moments with Barrio Drive, and I think just moments that I want to like sit down and like really commemorate, but right now fully celebrate and document. Yeah,
man, it's been a while. We started what is Barrio Drive now in 2017. So it started because, well, my sister and I have always shared rooms. Okay. So it started with us just wanting to have something that really spoke to us as not just kids of immigrants, but immigrants ourselves. Because a lot of what was circling, a lot of just the circles we have as first gens people is the experience as someone who has parents, right, who are immigrants. But I specifically during the time we had Trump as a president and DACA was being taken on. I mean, we're still in that situation, but
insane. Yeah,
but at some point you start realizing, like, a lot of people don't recognize or even know what it is that we are going through, because even when we talk to like our family members, right, they're like, oh, why are you so scared to go over here? Like, the migra no está igual de mal como antes. But they're talking from a point of view of someone who has papers, and when they didn't have papers, it was a totally different system than now. I mean, right now it's a lot worse, right? But back then, you didn't hear a lot of people have shirts saying chinga la migra or shirts saying no human being is illegal, because it just wasn't something that they even knew that was needed. So for me, it was really important to have a space for me to just talk to people, meet people, and really stand up for immigrants, because nobody was doing it at that moment.
Nice. Yeah, that's insane. 2017, we're coming up to 10 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
You got to soak that in and also celebrate it.
I know. I'm like a little 10-year anniversary party.
Oh, imagine.
Hit us up.
Whoever's down to come, let us know. I think, I think you and your sister have done an amazing job at, again, like advocating for different communities, but also, like you said, introducing a new way to run a business. Like, you do some stuff, you incorporate things that nonprofits do. Or a portion of the proceeds will go to this organization, go to this cause. And businesses typically don't do that because it's for profit, right? And it's like, again, another unique thing about Barrio Drive, about the way you've set up this vision you've had for not only yourself, but your communities, the communities that you really try to support and that you're a part of. And I think that's the thing that stands out, because it's like businesses don't do that. And then it shows like, but businesses can.
Yes.
You just choose not to. And Barrio Drive chooses to donate a lot of the money that they, the profit that the business gets, but also with DACA funds. I think a lot of that is you've spoken on like your own experience being a DACA recipient, and your sister too, or like having to deal with even the troubles behind that, given the current administration, given the administration 10 years ago. Nothing seems to have changed. It seems to have gotten worse. But now the difference is now we have brands that are stepping in and helping community where we can, right? And I think that's life-changing to the people who get to benefit from those resources, because, again, 10 years ago, Barrio Drive didn't exist. That wasn't something that was being done. And you doing that is also setting the foundation forward for future businesses, because, like you said, we have kids of immigrants, but then we have immigrants as well who have to navigate this world through a completely different lens. But who knows what immigrants are sharing a bedroom with their siblings right now and be like, you know what, this is very inspiring. Maybe I could do the same. And seeing someone who's already done it and leading the path forward. But I think there's big moments that Melly and I have been witnessing like online, and moments that we want to celebrate, because, again, like, I bet 2017, that was like a risk. Setting up a business,
Yes.
we're daughters of a business owner. Our mom, funny enough, is also her dry cleaner opened up in 2017. So también 10-year anniversary the same year. So maybe there's a party coming soon. But we know very, very well from her experience, setting up a business is always a risk. So I bet that, especially at your age, you were so young. And it's like my mom being older, like already with that, like, oh my God, this is a lot. I'm betting on myself. You and your sister bet on yourselves, right? I bet at that time, you had no idea what was to come from this, right? And then now we see artists like Jessie Reyes rocking Barrio Drive. We've seen, like, how does that feel too? Because one, we're big Jessie Reyes fans. I know that for sure. Me too. And so I'm like, I could just imagine to see someone you admire, because Homegirl's very vocal. Homegirl's bold. Homegirl does things like with music that push the limits. And I think that's very aligned to what you do with, entrepreneurship that pushes the limits. So I love to see that kind of connection be made online, and then seeing her rock the bandana as a shirt. It's like, girl got creative.
But not just rocking it once, like several times now. She rocks with Barrio Drive. And I love that because, again, the power of social media, the power of putting yourself out there, it's little things like that you should celebrate, even when things get hard. Because as a businesswoman, like as a person just running a small business, we've seen it firsthand. Like it's a risky thing, but also it's something, es como un orgullo que no te pueden quitar, because you've decided to do that. You've put in the years, and yeah, you're coming up to 10 years. Sometimes it feels like it was just yesterday you decided to make the first post. But look how much it's grown. Again, to this day, I remember the website of Adelita's Apparel. Again, every little intentional thing you've added to it has made people happy when they open the package. So there's so many people receiving this and getting to learn about Barrio Drive. I so wonder. And one day, hopefully, you get to interview Jessie Reyes and ask,
I hope so too.
How did that connection
manifesting
come to be?
that?
Yeah.
Man, so I've been a huge fan of Jessie Reyes for like the longest time. Like in college, like I got invited for being like such a huge fan to, it was her release for, I forgot what song it was, but she was YouTube's Artist of the Year. Okay. And I met her there, but it was before I even had shirts. Like, so the brand got big because I decided to bet on stickers. My sister and I had like this entire conversation about, hey, how about we use like the only funds we have right now and make stickers to sell? And she was like, no one's gonna buy stickers. And to be honest, at the time, it made a lot. Like at the time, a lot of people were not really buying stickers the way they are now. I believe stickers got a lot more like popular during COVID.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
But I put I put all of our money into stickers, pero se vendieron. And that's the reason why we were able to even sell shirts, because we were getting so much money from sticker sales.
No way.
That I was able to fund the shirts, because it's expensive, but people love stickers. And it got to the point where I remember when I met her, I gave her a sticker. Pero, back then, like, a sticker's so little. And even this time around, like, I didn't give her the bandana. She didn't buy it from me either. It was a fan which is also special. I think it's amazing that someone took their special moment to give a piece of my brand to a fan, like someone who they are such fans of. Yeah. And even to her, I was like, I got you on something super special. Like, give me a little bit. I'm waiting on production, but I will replace, because it was also her bandana. Like, she didn't have a second one.
You're right.
So I was like, no, like, I appreciate what you did, especially as someone who's also a fan of the same person. And it like, even every single time I wake up and like I see it, it's like if it's the first time I see it, like I get so excited. But it's moments like that when you're like, I'm doing something that really touches people, because it's a moment like that, I would think that somebody would rather spend that moment and get a selfie or get a video or a hug. But in that moment, they're like, hey, you know what? This bandana has these sayings, and I think that you should have it. And I think that's important, especially as what the brand stands for.
Definitely, yeah, and the message resonates. And I mean, she's an artist who's down to vocalize that message too. I was at her concert last year, right at the start of the raids and everything, and she made a statement. And it was at a time where the raids were just starting, so people were very afraid to like even like, should I say something? Should I not? And I could tell, I'm like, no, I know my girl didn't even question it. She's like, I'm going to say something. And those, again, like, when they say, like, art is political, art isn't political, it is. It is, you know? And it's like, it brings even more pride as a fan to be like, I knew, like, I supported the right person because they're quick to also support our communities and be there in, you know, in support and with the message that they could also vocalize to millions of people with their fan base. So shout out to Jessie Reyes again.
Shout out.
And shout out to the stylist. If you're listening and you happen to be styling Jessie Reyes for the next tour, the next event, hit up Barrio Drive.
Yeah, I got more bandanas too.
Like some new pieces might be coming.
I got shirts.
It's a whole brand. You could see the catalog come over.
I mean, I'm still like, I still can't understand how she wears the bandana as a top. Like, I'm just like, that is.
She's so itty bitty.
She's snatched.
Yeah, for real. I think there's definitely, okay, well, I guess staying on the conversation of this momentum or even just people we support with the huge fan base, knowing about Barrio Drive, learning about Barrio Drive. What other, I guess, artist interactions you've had through the brand? Because I know there have been a couple too. And then we'll go into the whole Coachella, Barrio Drive at Coachella conversation, because another thing, like, we're big Karol G fans, and like, knowing that she brought you out to Coachella this year is also, it was right when we were having the conversation about bringing you onto the podcast too, where we're like, this is insane, because it was one of the first times, Karol G made Coachella history as the first Latina headlining Coachella, which is insane.
How is it 2026?
And it's barely happening. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, because that's exactly where I was heading. But the fact that she said, okay, if I'm going to be at Coachella, I'm not going to be the only Latina at Coachella. My girls are pulling up too. And she brought brands that accurately represent, like, the type of work that we support, right? And so I kind of want to know more about that. But yeah, just in general, any other, like, I guess, important moments that the brand has gifted you and your sister or your family, you know, because it's a very family-oriented brand as well that we want to touch on.
Props to the family, because I also can't ignore the fact that the models have also been your direct parents.
Yes,
You put your people on, and I love that, because again, you also gave us that opportunity to just play around and have fun. So I wonder if you could even just share a little bit of that experience for them. Are they camera shy still, or are they, getting more comfortable?
My mom loves the camera. Like, she's number one camera. We just got invited to the Angel City FC game. Yeah. And my mom got the chance to represent Mosaic 1781 with the flag. Mi mamá, tú le dices, she'll be there. Like, she loves herself a good moment.
She understands the assignment.
Yeah, she understands the assignment. She understands, like, hey, let me put it out for tiki-toki. So she's on it, you know. My tias, I think everyone in the family is, like, slowly getting more used to the camera.
Love that.
Except for me, but because I'm the camera. But it's nice. Like, to me, what I really appreciate about having the ability to put my parents on, my family on, is that when I get to shine, I get to have that light shine on them too. Because the reality is that there's so much work that goes into small business. There's so much work that goes into my business itself. And I don't want to have all these moments by myself. I want my parents to also be able to celebrate those things, you know? And I think that's the best part about being able to have a business at my age, because I don't want my parents to, like, I don't want my big moments to happen later in life where my parents might not be able to enjoy them with me, right?
Very true.
So it's super cool to me to even be able to go, was it like last year, 2 years ago, Toyota invited me and my dad to go see a soccer game. And we've never, like, it has never been an idea in our mind to, like, oh, we're going to go see the soccer game. Y ahí luego vamos a ver la pelota, like, cerquitas, you know? And even that was super cool. Mexico ganó. My dad was living, like, his best life, you know? So it was super cool to have events like that where it's like, oh, yeah, my parents could come and they could also enjoy it with me. Because at the end of the day, it's, they came and they're giving us a better life, but they also deserve to have that better life too, right? It's not just us.
I love that. And I definitely get you on that. Like, there's been times where I've been invited to things, and it is different when you just go alone and you get it over with than having your family be with you, like if it's on set, if it's connecting with people, I leave so happy. And then that's also what's gotten our own mom like to love the people we surround ourselves with, where she's like, please sign me up, because she also knows like I am getting older to the point where if I don't take advantage of this opportunity now, time is gonna fly. Like that opportunity is you take it now or it won't come again. And they're at a point in life where I hope they get to just continue pouring into their inner child, because it's what they deserve, right? And you're right, you're at a point in your career where you get the chance to say, hey, can I get more than a ticket? And what is like the worst is going to happen? They're going to be like, hey, we can, or we can give you at least 3, but you know, that's the limit.
Yeah, you bring 1% at least.
Yeah, at least you get to bring them along. And I love that. And I'm so glad you get to, experience that. And also, you're a very personal, or like a very private person, but I love that you bring us in when you want to. And you know, it's appreciated through social media.
Yeah, definitely. I think the family aspect, just outside of like friendship, just when you share through Barrio Drive, like your family's modeling, and they're, I know they help with the pieces because all of it's literally handmade. Like everything's just so intentionally created, right? And your family, like through their hard work, hecho a mano, through their hands, it's like, again, so unique, because a lot of businesses, they try to do that in the beginning to cut costs or whatever, and then it's like, okay, we don't have to, like, and they try to produce everything as quick as possible. It's like you guys still continue to maintain like this intention behind the brand and this family kind of setup where it's like, if I'm good, my family's good. Like we're all in this. And yeah, so it's like a family effort that we've seen time and time again. I know last time we saw each other was for your holiday party. Yeah. And it's like, it was a family party. Like it
was literally your family.
Yeah, you know, like that's exactly what Barrio Drive gives. It's like una pachanga, you know? And I love it because we felt right at home. We felt familiar with the energy, and it's like, exactly, like we appreciate people just on a like personal basis. We appreciate people who allow us to feel like we're right at home too, because that's, I hope, the energy we bring when we invite people to our home as well. And it's something that I think right now, especially as we get older, again, with Melly bringing up like LA could be so fake, or like this influencer world that we live in, that the LA has become. We, especially just being born and raised there, like we've seen the community be really rooted in like actual community, right? And so when we get those moments, those intimate moments of just being with each other's families and you know, in community with each other, it's so special. And I feel like that's something that I think even people feel through just the screen, like people who may have not met you in person or your family, but they feel that family energy come through with the brand and what you guys do. I think it's very special. So I love that. I love that you, through betting on yourself, your family has come a little bit out of their shell. And it's like your mom's like, I'm a model now. You know, I could rep the brand. And like our mom too, just seeing how they've gotten comfortable at an older age where it's like, new things are possible for you, despite, you know, the age. Age isn't a limit.
And greatness is possible. Like a lot of people look at our elders and think like, no, pues, like life stops. But, you know, you could do a lot of things at whatever age. And I think that's also something I find important, especially when events come. Because every time we've gone to an event and I get to bring my parents, people are so excited. We were invited to the TikTok event, like also way back. Rizzo's Girls was there. They were loving my mom. My mom loved Rizzo's Girls. She was over there like trying to, she was playing a game, but she was losing. Pero la estaban dejando ganar las cosas. And everyone was coming around. Like the waiters kept coming to my parents and dándoles paletas, like everything extra. And to me, that's something super special because like I said, people look at elders and think like, oh, well, I don't, like when I'm old, like there's nothing else to do, but there's so much more.
Yeah, and I love that because I think, again, like they're reminded of that through us, through that like young energy we continue to maintain. And then they're reminded like, my life doesn't stop here. Or just because I had my kids and they're starting their lives doesn't mean I have to stop mine. It's like, your life and my life, they're going to mesh together and they're, and I love how that's worked out for us because it's like we still have an opportunity to see our parents happy and thriving and seeing like, oh, wow. Because betting on yourselves, especially as immigrants, is a scary thing. Like Melly and I talk a lot about like the creative world, and we're the first in our family to like have modeled for brands, have friendships that are like in that same creative space. And a lot of it, like I went to college and I did the college thing, sociology, whatever. And I was like, not even thinking about like the creative world that I'm stepping into. And I was just like, yeah, this is what I know. And when we sit down and have those conversations with our mom and like other people in our family, they're like, you guys are crazy for doing what you guys do. And it's like, crazy is not a bad thing, It's like we're wild, but we're free, We're doing things that, could feel scary, but we do them scared. We do them with a lot of anxiety because no one else has done them in our family before. We do them lost and confused because I bet you starting your business, you had a lot of questions, I bet, because I don't know if anyone else in your family has done this, but it's like, especially with like the age of internet we have right now, it's not just setting up a business. Yeah, I tengo mi tienda. Yeah, it's like I have to start a website. I have to learn how to take payments. How does all that work? It's like never ending questions sometimes, but you do it confused because you just know that you have a vision that you want to execute, right? And I feel like being the first in our families to do a lot of these things, you would think like we learn from the elders. Sometimes the elders learn from us. And I think that's a beautiful thing because it reminds everyone in the family, like the young ones could teach us so much. Younger generations are coming with like a fresh mind, a fresh perspective, new ideas, like new innovations. And, I'm excited to see what that does for the generations to come in our families because now, your cousins or whatever could have kids and then be like, I know a very successful business owner who's already done it. Like, you know what? If I want to start my business, it won't be as scary because I have someone in my family. If I want to learn to do photography, it's not as scary because I have someone in my family. It's like in a couple years to come, like I want to see what that dynamic switches in the family, So that's exciting. But yeah. Shout out to your parents. Shout out to your family. Your family is so sweet. Man. Yes, all immigrant parents, like they're so sweet. They're always so welcoming, like right at home.
I love it. And also going back to like the root of the business, like what inspired you to also tell your own story, knowing that there's like so many narratives out there, but you owning Barrio Drive to what it is today, has given you such a upper hand, I'd say, because there's so much conversation right now with everything going on that has like gotten super intense in the last year, that Latinos or the immigrant conversation, because, an immigrant issue is not just a Latino issue. It goes around and there's so many stories that can be told. But politically, through your launch and just the brand that has grown, you've also brought in conversations that a lot of people like to like represent through their outfits, but now joining collaborations or just opportunities like the Tropico Queta Coachella experience. That's also a big statement because one, Latinos are a huge market. How is it that there's such negative stereotypes like online and that spread across, but they also ignore the fact that we provide a lot for the US. And as an owner, again, that upper hand is there because 10 years, like there's so many numbers that can go behind your business. And statistically, there's so much you have, provided for the US. There's so many conversations with that. And I think that's such a huge upper hand that you and a lot of these businesses right now that are getting highlighted can really connect to when it comes to that. Yeah, the profit you guys have been bringing into your own families, but also to the economy. It's something that I do want to recognize now because oftentimes people like to forget. And I'm very proud of you and all the businesses that joined that day. I think it was so cool to see, one, the announcement on social media. Annie and I did end up going to Coachella, and
oh my gosh, super last minute too. That was insane. It was our first time at Coachella. We were literally rushing so quick to try to make it. We pulled up, the line to get into the parking. I'm like, bro, by the time we pull up, Jackson's gonna be closing the booth. Like, we were so bummed. But we want to hear all about it because we did tune in on, and again, power of social media, because even though we weren't able to be there physically, we were able to check it out online. It looked like such a great turnout.
No, it was so packed. It was insane. I had the Me Llevan las Bendiciones jersey. The first hour sold out, and then people kept coming. I was like, I swear, I literally brought all I had. And it was crazy, but I loved it specifically because I've been able to support that community over there. We had like a Christmas giveaway. We were driving around. It sounds bad, but we were driving around the van, dressed as Santa, giving out toys.
Who wants toys?
Yeah, exactly. And then we were like, oh, ask your mom, please, because this kind of looks weird. But I've been able to support the community out there. So it was a little bit cooler for me to be able to go as a brand instead of just giving stuff out. Like, I love giving stuff out, but it was more of me as a person instead of me being like, oh, well, if you want something to buy from me, you could also come, right? And a lot of people were really grateful because this wasn't a trip that was like, oh, I'm just going to drive 1 hour, like 30 minutes y ya estoy allí. So people were grateful that we all came out and we came to support. I dropped my prices down too because I was like, you know what, like, if people are coming out and supporting, because it was hot, like people are coming out to support me, I'd rather also give them a deal. And people support me so they know like the prices, so they were even extra excited because they were like, oh, it's a deal. And I had exclusive shirts too for that day, exclusive colors. So it was an amazing turnout. And also the brands that were invited were also like my LA friends, so it was like a little hangout too. It was amazing.
I love that. Okay, people got the Coachella special. Yeah. I love to see it. And I love that you also felt at home with like the other brands that were there, because it's like, oh, I know them, or like through even online interactions, it's like I know of you, so it's like we're glad that we're meeting in person, or it's like seeing each other again. And I think what she did for Coachella was definitely, again, like so special because like what Meli just said, there is a new wave of Latino business owners that I think deserve way more recognition than they're getting. Y'all are putting in blood, sweat, and tears for this, right? And gravitating like a big community. But I think, again, like talking about the generational structure in our families, like this is a new wave of Latino business owners that are doing something that has never been done before. We were just talking about Rizos Curls. Like, again, like what gravitates people to you all is like the fact that you guys bet on yourselves. And it's like, I've never done this before. I don't know how to do this, but it's getting done because we have community in our vision overall. It's just like where there's a will, there's a way, right? And I feel like she did such a great job at highlighting the new wave of business owners that definitely deserve their momentum, deserve just, again, the opportunity to like reach new people through Coachella. And Coachella have brought in a bunch of people. Again, Meli and I'm kind of the same as you. I don't like leaving my house unless I have to. So it's like, I was out there and I'm like, for Karol G, I will leave my house. And I will leave and do a drive because it was a drive. And I was like, all right, that's fine. And we literally just went that one day. I don't know how people do the entire weekend, but props to y'all.
I don't either.
Props to them. Yeah.
And it was huge, right? So it's like just seeing how many people were at the desert that weekend, or just that one day we were there. I love the fact that you sold out quick. Because, yeah, maybe people were bummed out. Babe, there's a website for a reason, just in case. But the fact that people were quick to be like, no, that jersey, I need it. Or, shopping. It's like, I love that. And again, putting their money where like in the right direction, because it's a business that genuinely supports like, and also genuinely like appreciates any dollar that comes in, because you always seem to, whatever it's brought in, you put out back to the community. And I think that's very special. And again, like, because I want to, just thank you for the work that you do, because there's some people online who say they do and they don't donate. You straight up always donate. We've thanked you because Melly and I ran a mutual aid, some mutual aid causes. But last year we did one with a neighbor who was a street vendor, and you were quick to send your donation. And I kid you not, till this day, a neighbor that we are very close with and we live by till this day, very appreciative. And the second we saw your donation come in, like, we called them instantly and we're like, you don't have to worry about your rent, you're fine. And because again, like going back to the raids that started last year, people were very, very afraid to leave their house. And this is a street vendor that's always in the area that we know through my mom having her business, us living in the area. And the streets, Pico Union is like a huge immigrant community. The streets were quiet. And I'm like, how are people going to make rent? Mm-hmm. Because that doesn't stop. The responsibility of having to pay your rent and stuff, their landlords don't care. And that landlord was specific, like, I don't care. Get the rent now or you're leaving. And in a panic, they reached out to us. And we're like, I don't know how we're going to get it done, but we're going to get it done. So we thought we were going to take a couple of days, at least a week to get all these funds. Girl, in a night because of you. And I just want to thank you, because I know this isn't the only cause you've supported and donated to. I know so many people who know you as well through the money you put back into community. And that's not something that I take lightly, because it's not something that's done often by entrepreneurs. Again, a lot of this, maybe Barrio Drive gets confused by an org, because some people are like, that's the org's problem. They could donate. And it's like, we're still all community members at the end of the day. And you've never switched up. Despite all the like success and everything that you've seen through Barrio Drive, your heart stays the same since day one. And that's one thing that I just want to take a moment to like commemorate, applaud, and really thank you, because a lot of people, a veces, when you see money coming in and stuff, people could switch up and, human, right? Like, it happens, but you could tell you were raised by a good family, because it stayed the same and it stayed consistent. And I think that's ultimately the most special thing Barrio Drive has till this day, like the heart and soul that your family and you put into this.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Like, I think for me, it's the responsibility that we have, not as a brand, but as people. Like, when I see the brand, I want people to know that it's like, it's not a brand. It's a person, an actual real life person who's working it, And when I saw that, I helped not because it was like, oh, I want to show people that I'm doing something, Because unfortunately what happened is that a lot of brands were just doing these shirts because they wanted to look like they were doing something. Yeah. And to me, I'm very strict on when people are supporting me, I want them to know that it's not just supporting me, it's supporting everybody else around me, everybody else that is in your community. And that's also why we do like Pride merch, because our community is not just straight Mexicans, there's queer people, there's people who are not Mexican, there's people who are Vietnamese, from Filipino. And to me, that's something that's really important for me to show. And also just show up as a person that's an immigrant and who wants to support everybody back. And, I not only am I an immigrant, but I have immigrant family members who, unfortunately, same issue. I have the beanie money goes to my aunts, who my aunt has been cleaning houses for a long time. And to see what was happening, we were like, hey, no, don't go to work, because she has to take the bus. Yeah. And we're like, don't go to work. And it's also me figuring out, like, a lot of people ask me, like, why don't you just do the beanies with the patches? And I'm like, no, because that's like, if I do that, I'm taking the job away from my aunt, right? But to me, that's something important for people to see. Like, I'm not donating money because I want a tax write-off. I'm donating money because I am someone who is also directly impacted, and you don't have to be directly impacted to understand the need and to support people. But it's a reality that a lot of people, unfortunately, are facing. Yeah. And, I supported that because that's what I care about. And I would hate for somebody in my family to go through that same thing and not know what to do. Yeah, and that's a lot of people don't have more family members to support on. Even even as a brand, like a lot of people don't realize that these brands, if we fail, unfortunately that's it. Like no one could help us because we're all, kids of immigrants trying to make it, and betting on ourselves is a lot, but you also have to bet on other people, bet on bet on your neighbors, bet on your friends and people who are also pouring back into you. And like people don't see street vendors as people who are pouring into you. Like, hey, you wouldn't have your esquite if it wasn't for someone who is out there in the sun, in the rain, trying to make a living.
Yeah, your flowers, your antojitos, your little cravings, like, bro, yeah, I agree. And I think there's something powerful in what you just shared. The community over convenience conversation is something I've been seeing online as of lately. And I think right now we're in a state of the world where it's like we want everything to be convenient. We want everything to be quick, accessible, at our disposal, at our hands, like, readily available. And sometimes being in community means going out of your way, having to do something that might inconvenience you, but help another. And that's what it means to be a neighbor. That's what it means to show up, what it means to like have to stop what you're doing because you genuinely want to help someone else, And we had a lot of conversations with our neighbors about this because there's some neighbors that we had to meet through the raids, and they're like, "Me da pena. I don't want to ask for help because I know you probably have your own lives going on." And it's like, my life is being in community. I can't just pause that and say, "No, not right now." It's like, to be a community member, it's not just like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a community member today." It's like an all day
or from
thing.
9 to 5, you can find me here, but then don't,
Or it's like, again, like other business owners are like, "Oh, okay, I'm part of this community. Yeah, let's do a campaign," and then it stops there. It's like, no, it's something that you're like really rooted in because we're in this 24/7.
Which, as Oaxaqueñas, it's also for me. One, like the tenfold, the blessings come your way because you're also pouring in, not expecting anything in return. That my mom has always taught us, like, si no lo van a hacer de corazón, no lo hagan, because it will show. And as Oaxaqueñas, que la guetza, gotzona is one thing where it's like, you have to do your tequio, you do the labor, you spend that time, you're not getting paid, you're not getting anything in return. But the day that someone... that same person, that same person can help you if you need anything. They will be there. That favor will be returned. It's just not you don't know that timeline. It's something that happens, and that's how we navigate life. Where we appreciated that when your support came in. I remember, and then my mom was just like, once she knows Barrio Drive because of the shirt, but also even the fire reliefs that happen in Oaxaca. You and your sister pulled up to that. Fundraiser, and that alone was super nice and reassuring that like Barrio Drive doesn't need to have the cameras following them and being like, "Oh, I'm doing this," and like, "Oh my gosh," like all for Instagram clout or like social media clout. You're doing that out of the kindness of your own heart. You made time for that. It was a weekend. It was super packed. Like other people, like they would really not have cared. Yeah, it was. Really,
I'm like, I didn't get my. I wanted something, pero se les vendió todo. I was like, no.
Yeah, that, and then again, Oaxaqueños, like just mutual aid, anything that has to do with supporting one another, like. People do show out, and I love that because, again, on our end, like the Oaxaqueños love you. I
love that.
Barrio Drive knows that, but it is something that's really nice to know that we've gotten the opportunity to build community, and it shows.
Yeah, it's because there's this resemblance of like how you show up versus, or how you show up and how we were raised to show up too. It's like se hace el corazón, and it's just something that comes naturally to you and your sister, your family, just showing up and doing it naturally, not thinking of, again, like what Meli said, Instagram clout, or like, because there's, being real, there's people who weaponize that and say, "Oh, right now, community's going through it. Let me put myself in front of a camera and see how I could like use this to up my following." And, it sucks because like sometimes it's great that you're sharing or, bringing more momentum to these type of conversations. But then once that momentum dies out from like a certain emergency situation onto the next thing. And it's like, community members are still there struggling. So I really appreciate that authenticity because luckily with us, it's not like rare because I'd like to think we're surrounded by good people who think like us as well. But not everyone is exposed to the same type of hearts. And we're, again, very grateful because it's that gravitation of like, we show up the same because we think the same and we were raised in a similar manner. And then Oaxaqueños too just gravitate because it's like, we're like that too, you know, and we appreciate it. And I think it's been very exciting to just see what has came for Barrio Drive in the past 9 years, ni 10 años, you know. So next year we'll see qué más. But your 9th year was pretty memorable. A lot of online attention and love.
Yeah, I'm hoping to just like, you know, get to do better things. Like I've always really wanted to do more cut and sew, but I want to also bring just more people into, like, I want to create more videos where we're highlighting people instead of, because I feel like everything right now, it's still very, I'm still learning how to do everything. I want to start doing campaigns, but campaigns that are more integral to the community that I want to serve.
I love that. And again, just as we were talking about social media and the impact you've done throughout the last 9 years, also the amount of smiles you brought into people's homes as they've seen your content throughout the last year, because you've bought out street vendors. I think that's something that, one, I don't have TikTok anymore, but it used to be something I loved, like being able to like just bump into one of your videos on my For You page. It was so cool. I'm like, wait, I like that because not only like do I know the brand, but I also know you, where I'm like, that is so cool. And it's in your community. Like, you didn't have to go far to make someone's day. And the whole like vendor buyout has been huge the past year. We need more of that. We appreciate that. And it's also highlighting the fact that like street vendors are everywhere. Like it's been a hustle, and you can really change someone's day a whole week if you really think about it, when they realize they don't have to be there from their usual start time to the end. They get to, you know, enjoy their day and still feel like they can finally breathe without not knowing where their next customer is going to come from or how much more they have to sell. That's always been nice. And I love seeing how happy you get when buying out street vendors. It's so cool. I'm like, this is what businesses should do. And I love that it is you creating that. And don't stop. If you need more support, reach out. Like, there are
I will buy a street vendor
people.
one day together. That'd be fun.
Yes. I'd love that. And again, like, they're always just so like appreciative, you know, but I bet like even coming home, like, esa sonrisa no se le sale, because it's like, and even then, like, people's reaction, their family members from like shocked, because a good deed could really go a long way, you know. And it's not even just the financial aspect of it, but to like, people are seeing me and the work I put in. I'm being appreciated, you know, being supported. I'm not alone in this journey, because it could be a really like, being a street vendor, you have to place your bets every day. You just don't know what you're going to come back with, right? And then also being outside, the way LA is nowadays, that's just dangerous in itself. So it's like, you're putting your life at risk every day. And that's not something that should be taken lightly. So whenever you can, also tip your street vendors. Yes. If you're buying an elote and you have an extra $1 or $2, dale algo, you know. But shout out to the street vendors for the antojitos, the food, flowers, everything. They're really there for us in any situation. I love that. And I think, we're getting ready to like wrap up the episode. But I think there's just so many beautiful things that have come from our connection with you, and just in general have come out of Barrio Drive. I'm excited to see from here 10 years from now, since the topic seems to be the 10 years of Barrio Drive. The next 10 years, I know, will be just a bunch of success, new merch, new vision, new
collaboration.
Yes, hopefully. I'm excited. It's going to be super cool. And I also just think it's what I want to focus on is just highlighting other people. Specifically right now, one of the best things for me is that I built my brand on my identity so much that right now, with what people are going through, DACA delays, where people renewed their DACA on time, but they're not renewing it on time. So there's people out there who have been having no jobs for 3 to 4 months because their work permit wasn't renewed on time, and they're all starting a business. And thankfully, I've been able to meet with them and talk about it, because a lot of people are going into terms of like, well, I still have bills to pay. A lot of people have children. They still have to pay for things for their children, food, bills, all that, right? So people are like talking to me about like, well, how is it to have a business? And not just that, I think it's important for people to also realize like, hey, just because you don't have papers, that doesn't mean you can't do anything with your life. So being able to show people like, hey, this is what my life looks like and what I've been able to make of my life without papers, without all these other, like with all these obstacles, and show them like there's still a lot more that you can do. Your success is what you make of it, what you make your life of it, right? So it's something that I want to start highlighting, not just my life, but figuring out a way to highlight other people who also have different walks of life, because I only know what it is as someone who is a business owner, but there's a lot of actors who don't have papers, you know? So it would be cool to be able to highlight stories like that from all over the world.
Look at you getting into your consulting bag. I love that. And again, not everyone has the same heart. And I just want to highlight one last time how thankful we are, because we get to at least see you grow, and don't stop doing it, please. Again, if you ever need, if it's like a day where you're questioning everything, just hit us up. We don't mind, because it gets hard to really do that. But you're not alone. There's so many people out there that are willing to at least support with as much as they can. But the fact that you're that momentum in your family and you get to bring everyone in, I love it. Yeah. I also wanted to just highlight the fact that on my end, I have so many collaborations that I'd want Barrio Drive to join. I'm like, there's so many brands I think y'all would do really great. And that already speaks for itself, because again, so many people that think like you, just align with your values. It's great. But also in the next 10 years, like there's so many updates that we'll hopefully hear as you announce them. But now, like, as we wrap up, knowing that if you'd want to highlight like any advice you have for people that are maybe not wanting to just start a business, but are also navigating like the college experience, something that you'd advise your younger self. I would want to know, like, what would you tell your younger self? Because we didn't highlight your college experience, but you did go to college and you do have like a lot of different tools under your belt. So yeah, something you'd want to highlight.
I think my best advice specifically for people in college is, if you want to start a business or just do something that's a risk, to do it while you're in college. Because one thing I wish I had done was learn more about business while I was in college. I graduated with what did I graduate with? Me. I had a major in philosophy and political science with a pre-law minor. And I was so set on going to law school that I sometimes wish I was like, well, I should have learned how to do like graphic design or film. I love film. I wish I went to school for film as well. But I was so locked in on like, I didn't see the brand. I started the brand during college, but I didn't see the brand as something that was going to be my end all be all. Well, we're all kind of raised like career, college, career, that's it. Not exactly, people, our parents and our families aren't really used to knowing that there's a creative way that you could also grow and be successful. So I was so set on that I didn't give myself opportunities to grow in spaces that I also really enjoyed.
I relate to that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think in college it would be super, like, it's super cool because you have that time, right? You're in college, you have classes, but you're not like, not everybody has to work, but sometimes you still have that time because you're still in college where you could use that time to do something to nourish what you are enjoying and figure out if, hey, you know what, maybe this hobby that I really enjoy could be my end all be all.
Mm-hmm. I think that's really good advice. I was just thinking about that, like my own college experience. And I think I had the same thought, like, damn, I wish I like just explored more like fun stuff. Like I think I took myself too seriously in college because you're kind of raised like, oh, you've been given this opportunity, don't waste it. And like, this is the final step before the start of your life. And it's like, oh, after this, I get a job and that's it,
Yeah, like big girl job.
Exactly. And it's like, I'm good. And then I graduated college. I'm like, that's not how it works. And it's like, also, again, going into like the natural creative direction that we're kind of like going into. I like stopped and thought like, I wish in college I like knew that being a creative didn't mean like, it wasn't a scary thing, but because again, being kids of immigrants and like just having a family dynamic that doesn't understand this, like it's a new world for them. It's risky, it's scary, and it's unrealistic to them because it's like, there's always jokes about this. And it's like your parents crossed the border, came here, and you tell them you want to be an artist or something.
You want to be a TikToker.
That is
exactly. And it's like the influencer thing, it's now a career. And it's like, imagine us telling our parents, Ma, quiero ser influencer. Like,
That's kind of what happened to me.
they're going to look at you a little
Me
crazy.
with photography, I'm like, I want to be a photographer. And they're like, luckily
No,
they
and those
didn't shut it down.
But those conversations were real because I like to think our family was as open as a family of immigrants could be. But there's other parents who are straight up like, what? That's not going to get you any money. That's not, and it's like, all you want is like generational wealth because your parents sacrificed everything, right? And there's parents that are a lot harsher that like just shut down those dreams immediately. I like to think that our family was pretty open-minded about it. And even with that open-mindedness, they were still like, but maybe you should have a plan B. Because it's like, again, it's not realistic.
And it's not bad also. Like, it's not bad to have realistic conversations. But I also think that our parents don't understand that there's a different world as well. Because my parents didn't understand what I was doing until we got the Univision interview. And then they were like, oh, wait, like, your TikToks are like, oh, they're doing something. Because to them, it was like, oh, está haciendo TikToks y pues dice que le agarran likes, right?
Yeah.
But I think until I got like that first media that they understood, because I was getting media, but I wasn't getting like Latino media they valued.
It
so
speaks
it's
their
different.
language.
Yeah. So I think it's also just their fear. And most of us are still always like, we grow up in survival mode where it's like, no, you need to have this career. You have to go do college, get a degree, and go to work, because that's what their image of success looks like.
Yeah. And it's like kind of ingrained in us. But like you said, college is a really great time to start exploring just even the fun stuff while still exploring your academic stuff. Because we are like, why can't you do both? And it's like, cool, yeah, you can. But also as a college student, there's so many resources for college students that you literally only get while you're in college. So ask your questions, figure out like what it is that you want to pursue and all that, and what resources are available to you at your campus. And now, thanks to COVID and the online stuff, what resources are available to you online as a student. So I think that's really great advice. Yeah.
And then now, lastly, if a college campus would want to bring you onto their campus or, highlight Barrio Drive, where can they find you? Any social media platforms or the website directly? Please share it now.
Yeah, so TikTok, Instagram, all social medias are Barrio Drive. Email is barriodriveco@gmail.com. And the website is barriodrive.com as well.
A flex. I love it. Thank
Barrio
you
Drive.
so much for joining us. This was such a great episode. I think we can continue talking for days.
Yeah.
Luckily, you can come over anytime. Thank you so much for, again, joining us. Thank you all for tuning in to Las Voces del Pueblo. This is a wrap.
If you own any Barrio Drive merch and just whatever Barrio Drive apparel you have, please let us know in the comment section what your favorite piece is, because I always love seeing like what people rock. And I've been obsessed with this sweater. So I just feel like this hoodie has been like my emotional support hoodie. But prior to this, it was Me Llueven las Bendiciones t-shirt. The blanket I bought and I gifted it to one of my best friends for her for Christmas, I think. And that blanket, it got some weight to it. I love it. Great quality. So if you haven't purchased from Barrio Drive, maybe visit their website too. All funds always go to a good cause and to good people. So thank you again, Jax, for joining us. For everyone joining us, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye, y'all.
West close to the liquor store, chilling at my homie Andre's pad with the local squad. They know I got love for the homies that post up on the block.